Assalamu alaikum. Hi, Oracle, Reiki, spiritual healer. And I wanted to talk to you about spiritual cleansing ceremonies. So when you are holding a ceremony where, let's say, someone has been attacked with different kinds of spells, those people who have taken you to dark places. So the first thing that I wanted to tell you is that we understand that we have cleansed this negative energy from you when you start either to remove those negative energy, the mucus from your mind. You start to, vomit that negative poison, that mucus that's in your body. Whether it was sent to you by people laying tricks. So these types of negative energy where you will have blockages in your bowels. There are certain rituals. There are certain cleansings that cannot be performed inside as ceremonies. You cannot perform certain cleansing ceremonies where there are multiple demonic entities attached to the individual. And a lot of practitioners that, have not studied in this way, and they have not understood, or they have been tricked by the entity in order to carry out certain cleansing rituals inside of, a home, inside of a place that hasn't been, purified, that has not been approved for these types of rituals, for these types of negative energy to be removed in these places. Usually these types of entities will be reattached to the place. They can be reattached to the individual, the person that is cleansing the negative energy. You are supposed to have on religious garbs when you are removing certain negative energy. And it's just simple that certain types of cleansings are not supposed to be held in holy spaces. It's not supposed to be held inside. They are supposed to be held outside. When you're holding funerals, in many places that I have understood, that these types of funerals or anything of that nature where it is concerning, a deceased person, is not supposed to be carried out inside of, the holy spaces that has been cleansed and purified for the living. And so I tried to get this out yesterday, and I guess I was saying it wrong, but they took my post down. So let me try this away in order for you to understand, that you have to have the understanding that when you are removing certain blockages, certain negative energy, and I will use the movie Poltergeist as an example to this type of cleansing, that certain things are not supposed to be carried out on in sacrificial grounds, in places that have been purified by the word of God, by the holy body of God, by the temple of God. Certain things are not supposed to be carried out, in those holy spaces that is meant for the living. So therefore, anything that, is deceased is not supposed to be brought into holy spaces. So when you are removing, multiple spirits from a person, and this is why a lot of people do not practice spiritual healing. They practice, a form of, cleansing. They practice a form of removing certain entities. But in many cases, they do not practice spiritual healing, because in spiritual healing, in order to deal with something that is, unclean, an unclean spirit, it has to be performed and carried out outside, in a specific ritual, in a specific cleansing. And a lot of the practitioners do not possess, the knowledge in order to put on the full armor of God, the dress, the spiritual attire, the spiritual headdress, the spiritual, gird, the spiritual shield, in order to remove these types of more, malevolent spirits that we saw in that movie, Poltergeist, and those types of movies where the entity was stubborn. And you will have stubborn types of entities that you will deal with as a spiritual healer when you are laying hands on people. A lot of people, will not be able to cleanse these types of negative entities, because we have an understanding that if you bring these types of entities into your home, then they will become attached to the place. They will become attached to persons in your house or things in your house. And you will have, things that start to happen in that place, in that space. So this is why, when people are using different kinds of rituals, bones, different kinds of dirts, in order to cleanse negative energy, that kind of cleanse is never supposed to be brought into your home. And if it is brought into your home, until you have the person, that can cleanse the negative energy come to cleanse the land or cleanse the person, then the whole entire home is supposed to be purified at that time. Okay, so this is why we do not do that. And this is why a lot of the rituals and practices that has been given to cleanse certain energy, it is not practiced by certain people, because they do not have that information. You will see them with, things that are not supposed to be done. You will see them with different kinds of things, that bones and things like that inside of their home. And so, as an understanding, that person is defiled, and they have to be cleansed and purified from that negative energy, or their body, or they have opened up a portal for that negative energy to attach themselves to them. And you can many times tell these people who haven't purified themselves from the negative energy inside and out. Okay, so these are the understandings that I wanted to give you when we are removing the mucus, the blockages in your stomach, the bowels, those types of negative energy that will cause you to vomit, or to have, a bowel movement, when you're removing multiple demonic attachments, multiple spirits from a person where they have cross conditions. In many cases, it cannot be carried out, inside. It must be carried out, as a spiritual cleansing, a baptism, a different kind of cleansing method, so that the spirit can disperse, or you can remove the negative entity, altogether, and cast it out into the ground. You can cast it out into the water, into the air, so that it doesn't become attached to a place or a person in that way. So, this is how we use these cleanses. I hope that you have understood this message. You can reach out to me in the description below, so that I can give you alternative ways and methods of cleansing these types of negative energy. Please book your one-on-one sessions with me, so I can acclimate a gift to your situation. Book your life coaching sessions or your video chat sessions. Donate to me. I'm High Oracle Reiki Spiritual Healer. Assalamu alaikum.